I'm going to tell you guys how I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. First thing that I want to say is there's no right or wrong from being an entrepreneur versus being an employee. Like, being an employee can be fucking dope. You have everything laid out for you in terms of what you need to do, what you need to get done. You know exactly what you're making. The security of it can be really enticing to a lot of people. That's not even to mention the fact that employees that are number 2, 3, 4, 5, like, you can be a C-level executive being an employee and making an insane dent in the company, like just in the way that you help. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be moving the needle or making an impact. Here's the way that I found out I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I grew up when I was younger tinkering and trying out a lot of different things. Some of those were video games and sports and internet and creative hobbies and just different things that I just tried on my own. When I was in school, I was a terrible student. It wasn't the books that were too smart for me or the curriculum that I didn't understand. It was just that I didn't like doing things on other people's terms. I liked being something about somebody telling me what to do and it not necessarily being something that I want to do. I don't know. I like almost rebelled against it and was like, I'm not doing this. And so therefore I only got grades of things I only got grades when I either had to or else I was going to get in trouble. Or in subjects that I actually really enjoyed. Or if teachers maybe sometimes passed me and gave me better grades because I was an athlete. But while I was in school, I realized, like, okay, I like doing things my own way. I have my own look at things. I have my own creative process for things. I want to try and do some things my own way. Then I got into hockey. And while I was playing hockey, the peak feeling that I ever had in hockey was when I was playing high school hockey. And the reason for that, I think, was when I was playing high school hockey, I was able to do things my way. I had the confidence and the ability given to me by my coaches to do things my own way and just like go out and do whatever you want and like just go do you. And by being able to do that, I had the most fun, and I also ended up actually being the best at it. Like, I ended up actually having a great time, being a great player, and having a great year as an athlete. Then I went and played junior hockey in Canada. And when I went and played junior hockey in Canada, the hockey turned into more of a business. And meaning the company was actually paying players. The hockey team was actually paying players. The hockey team was actually making money by selling tickets. There was a general manager. There was an ownership group. Like, it was an actual business of junior hockey. And when that happened, even though there is a big portion of the team and the ownership and the general managers and all of the staff that looks at each player as like an individual and a human and like wants to help them grow and develop, there also is a business component to it, and you as a player are an employee who has to follow a certain set of rules and follow a certain curriculum and adhere to the way that things are. And I think looking back at hockey, for me, the thing that I loved about hockey was the actual game itself. I loved the actual act of being on the ice and playing and like training for the sport and like just being able to be out there doing it. The things that I realized that I didn't like were the structure and the falling in line and like having to do having to go about it in the way of another person. So that was the first example of me, like, in a business professional world, not enjoying being an employee in a business. Me being a junior hockey player. All right, I wanted to park to finish this while I'm parked. What I also want to say about junior hockey is, yes, even from the moment that I was playing youth hockey, I still was following some sort of a system and needing to be a player on a team. The difference between youth hockey and junior hockey was something changed to where it became about a business, and winning, and needing to play a role that something was tied to, like, fitting into like a system. I don't know, something about that. Something about, like, it when it switched from it just being like minor hockey, where it's like, yeah, our organization wants to win, to being like, no, this is a business and we've invested money and we're paying people. That just something changed. From junior hockey to pro hockey, I went on to play another 6.5 years of hockey as a business. In minor professional hockey, it is even more apparent that you are that you are attached to a dollar amount as an employee, than it is even in junior hockey. Like, I would say a lot of the minor pro felt way more like that than even the juniors that I got to play. So I think what my realizations were when I was playing all of these was, in a weird way, a lot of the times, unfortunately, there's just not enough room for these teams to care or allow enough individuality, or just for you just to do things your own way, because they're dealing with a lot of their own stuff that's going on. And when when I started realizing, after being on multiple teams, wait a minute, like, even if I am doing everything right and the coaches love me, they still have, like, a budget. And, like, as an employee, if I don't fit that budget, I still am expendable. And my life and my livelihood and my well-being and like literally, like, my life, like, I'm living here to play for this team. And if my budget or what their budget doesn't fit what my salary costs, then things need to change. And that can happen at any moment. And literally, players in every single sport, in every single league, have moments where they just get calls in the middle of the night, and it just says, yo, we made a trade. Middle of the night, that's being a little dramatic. They get a call from somebody, sometimes out of the blue, let's put it that way, out of the blue, with someone saying, hey, you just got traded, pack your bags, your flight's leaving in 12 hours or 24 hours, we wish you well. And so by the time that I finished with hockey, I knew that I wanted more stability in my control of my life. I was like, I will die on my own sword. I will fail. I will go and I will figure it out. I will go and I will find a way to make something work. That might mean that I am going to end up driving Uber or DoorDash and making $30,000 a year, which was more than I was even making in pro hockey. Can you believe that? $30,000 a year. But I will be doing it in the way where it's my own ideas, it's my energy, it's me choosing where I want to be and my energy, and I'm betting on myself. And that, to me, feels like the biggest win. The only other time that I worked a job was when I came home from summer one time and I needed to work, because I didn't have money saved up after hockey or after in my off season. I was probably like 17 or 18, and I worked at a health club in Scottsdale, making smoothies, and like ringing people up for coffees and different things like that. I lasted about 2 to 3 months. I got to work with all my friends there, which was awesome. That was probably also terrible because we were. I was a horrendous employee. I was playing. I would bring a speaker to play music while I'm making smoothies. That ended up being the reason why I was fired. And I honestly, it just felt like I was having fun with my friends the whole time. And during that, I was also like, I don't even know. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was, but I was like, if this is a job, I'm not doing this. So I ended up leaving and going home and like looking through my house at all the different old hockey gear, hockey cards, Pokemon cards, different things that I could sell to make whatever money I needed to just get through the summer. So that was the only job that I ever ended up working. And when I got done playing pro hockey and was like, okay, I now have this realization that I got to go do my own thing. I don't have the money saved, but I'm going to figure this out. There was a feeling of freedom and of like just this rush of energy that I had that was like, I have so much energy to go and do this. I feel so excited to fail, to try something and learn from it, and try something and learn from it, and try something and learn from it, and then try something and actually work and like stick with it for a minute. So that has been something that I've absolutely loved. And I know, and I've even recently gotten asked, if you were offered a couple $1,000,000 to go and work for a company and be an employee and be one of the highest employees, employee number 2, employee number 3, employee number 5, bigger companies where I'm getting paid tons of money and I'm employee number 30 or 50 or 120 or whatever it is, making multiple millions of dollars per year, I still would say no. And it's not about the money to me. It's about the fact that I love betting on myself. I love trying something and failing at it and trying it and figuring it out. I love being in control of my own day. I love being able to come up with an idea and put it into execution. I love being the person that is, even in a weird way, I love being the person that is responsible for all of the shit going wrong. I love the accountability. I love the responsibility. I just love it. I really enjoy it. I love it. I have so much fun with it. There's no money that would change that for me, and have me go and being an employee, because I just care too much about doing the things that I want to do. Now, the last thing I want to say is that's just me. That's just my own way of looking at things. That's my own way of how I feel my best. I have gone through times where I have done things on the side as a contractor, but I'm part of another company while also doing my own thing. And I also enjoyed that. And I think that there's a lot of people that can do like almost like hybrid entrepreneur / freelancer or contractor that I think a lot of people would really enjoy. And I think that there's been times where I've really enjoyed that. And that is something I am never against. If something comes along and somebody is like, hey, can you give us a couple of hours per week or per month and be part of this and actually be integrated into the team? To me, I'm like, I love that. That's awesome. I still get to do my own thing. As long as I'm crushing it, cool. That to me is something that I think a lot of people would probably have a really good time doing rather than just only doing your own thing. So that's something to consider too. And the last thing is, if you find joy from being an employee, don't get pulled into the culture of entrepreneurship being really dope and entrepreneurship being glorified. If you actually feel like, and I had this conversation with another person the other day that was like, I am a really good employee. And I was like, that's so fucking cool to admit that, because I think people get pulled into entrepreneurship being this like really cool thing way too much. And if you genuinely get your own excitement from being like, yo, I get to go be part of somebody else's vision and help them execute on it, and play a role within this, and my finances are stable, and I know my hours, and I know it's expected of me, and I get to report to somebody, and all of that fires you up, that's so sick. You should be stoked about that. You should be really fired up about that. At the end of the day, you just want to be happy with you doing whatever makes you happy. So follow that. And that's how I knew that I wanted to jump into entrepreneurship. Love you all. Peace.